Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to be hanging out at the awesome and beautiful island of Cayo Perico. Now, normally we would go down to party, but instead today we're going out to check out some of the races that they have that was added in the last update, to show you some of the cool things that you can do with these, and also, more importantly, to show you how to win at the races of Cayo Perico. So check it out. We're going to go through some of those, show them off, tell you what the pretty much the best vehicle is, and we'll go from there. Now, the first two races that I want to talk about with you is going to be the two basically Blazer Aqua races, which are Get Blazed and Hard Dock Life. And pretty much this is simple. Like, you have a Aqua Blazer, it's your only choice. If you've never driven a Blazer Aqua before, it's basically you can press one button and change it from being a quad bike to being basically what you're looking at now, which is kind of like a water-based, I don't even know how to say it, like a jet ski or something. And basically what you can do is, as you can see right here, there's going to be little areas where you can kind of transition between being water-based and being land-based. The real trick to this is when you're as a boat, you want to pull back, and when you're as a Blazer, you're going to pull forward. That's pretty much it. Like, miss all those little jump areas right there. Whenever they try to offer you something, like, it's usually a setup. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, there's nothing really to it other than just that. And the random factor that I hate with some of these water-based ones is that the water, like, it's going to be affected in different ways. Like right now, it's really calm, but I've had races where it's like the water is just all over the place. So the real trick for these is some of it's going to be a little bit of luck, and the other one is going to be a little bit of skill. So knowing when to transition between the quad version and the boat version or the jet ski version is going to be pretty much key to winning a lot of these, especially with races today. You know, like, everything is still catch-up oriented. So you want to be able to drive the best you can and just go from there. I think on the leaderboards, I do it as non-contact, and I think on that one I'm about 38th position. So it's the thing is, with a lot of this stuff, it's really good in the beginning, and people will get acclimated to it and say, hey, we love it, we want to play it, and then it kind of dies off really quick once, you know what I mean, there's really nothing to it because you don't buy something. There's no way of getting any kind of, you know, heads up better than any other player when you play it. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this. Okay, the next one we have is Coast Clear, and this is the only one of the group that uses a Sea Shark. It's kind of the same thing as the Blazer Aqua. You're not going to be able to pick any other vehicle. I don't know if there's any way of, because it says boats, but it seems to be restricted, and it doesn't really give you an option to go any other way with being restricted. There's only really one tricky place here, and this suffers from the same effect of the other ones where the waves are going to be. Just get used to getting frustrated by them. Just learn how to drive a Sea Shark to the best of your ability, and that's pretty much all you can do. There really isn't much to it other than that. This trick right here, don't hit that. Like, I know there's probably people who can do it, but it's at the end of the day, I'm going to dodge any jumps I can because they're just made to really set you up. So yeah, if you guys can find a way to use any kind of customized boat or anything like that, I have a fairly good collection of customized boats, and I I've never had anything that shows up on my list, so I don't know. Like I said, I think it's pretty much limited to Sea Shark, and that's that. And again, it's really just going to get frustrating because you're just going to be going around in a 2-lap cycle, and they have these little areas here that are going to try to tell you to learn how to, turn fast. In reality, you don't even hit that area. Like, you just do an outside turn on it and go from there, and whatever works best for you works best for you. So that's the thing, is that like that wave right there, it just threw me one way or the other. It's like, it gets very annoying with the waves, especially with the Sea Shark wanting to turn. And then you have just stuff out there that are like targets, and you can hit it, and it's like, it's just annoying. So I don't know if they plan to use something with that, which was like a shortcut or something, but just none of them seem to work right. So I kind of feel this is the weakest of all the tracks for Cayo Perico. It should have been a little bit more available to boats and stuff. So I haven't went outside there to do it. And I have to be honest, I kind of don't take this race too seriously, just because there really isn't much to it. Especially since you can't choose your vehicle and everything, you're going to constantly have issues with catch up and there you go. Okay, welcome to Crash Course. And of all the ones I want to have fun with, and I don't feel like I have a lot of fun with it, it's this one. And the reason is because, in truth, the best vehicle you can pick for this is the Canado, or the new helicopter that they brought out. It's not shocking that 2 of the races in here really require you to buy something that came out during the update. We'll get to that later, but the first one is obviously the Canado, which is a new helicopter. I really don't see what the big deal is that's special about it. I mean, if you buy it, you're really only purchasing it to win this one race. So I didn't really even care to buy it at all. I see a lot of guys using the Hunter too, which is another custom helicopter. A lot of guys will have that. Obviously if you have something custom, take it in stride about how helicopters move. If you can see how I'm kind of swooping through some of these areas, you're just gonna kind of find the best, like, maximum speed area to move with them. So it really is kind of finding a helicopter that works best for you, and that could take a little bit of work because they all have their little quirks and nuances and everything. So the big trick here is going to be, like I said, finding a helicopter that works for you if you have a custom. But if you don't have any, which I think most people don't, and to be honest, I didn't have anything other than a cargo bob that really fell into this area, the Swift is the fastest helicopter of the list. I tried every other one multiple times to kind of get a let's see who's kind of the fastest thing going. And it, like I said, it really came back to being the Swift every time. It's, like I said, it's really just finding something that'll kind of roll with the punches and is quick at the same time. If you're a big, what is it? I think the Super Deluxe Velito or whatever, that one was okay too. Didn't really hold a candle to the Swift when it came to just, stock or whatever. So if you have the money and you bought a Canado, wasted your money on a Canado, I'm just gonna say it. But yeah, if you wasted your money on a Canado, then you have the right one. That's the one I would use. If you don't have it, then I think the Swift is gonna be the best bang for your buck. And like I said, it's the one I'm using. I don't really put a lot of emphasis. Like if I can win, every other Cayo Perico race because I have a custom for it, except for this one, then hey, you know what? I guess if you spent the money on the Canado, I guess you deserve to win. So that's how that works for me. But like I said, it's just one of those races I really want to like. I think as a helicopter race, it is done spectacularly well, and I get really like kind of hyped up about racing it, even when I can't win it, because I just kind of like the feel of its smoothness. And really, there's no tricks. It's just, you know, fly your best, and you should do well. Welcome to Bike and Subscribe. Now, this is the one that's really going to frustrate you. It has little areas that, like, for some reason, bikes just don't like. So if you're somebody that does bikes, you'll probably love this track. If you don't, and I missed the boost there, if you don't, then there's a good chance that this is probably going to frustrate you so much that you don't want to play it. Especially if you meet somebody that knows what to do in these races. They'll feel like they can go a lot faster. Like right there, don't go straight directly at that jump. Time to take it from the side so that you can spend more time on the ground getting your energy up. Now, the biggest trick to this race, which I find funny, obviously use your wheelies as much as you can. And I'm kind of having a problem focusing because of talking at the same time. But the big trick here is that everybody wants to use that, was it the BF8 or BF9 or whatnot, and to be honest, I think my top time is in the BF9. But the biggest, speediest racers that do this are in the Sanchez livery, and that is just weird. Like, guys who use Sanchez liveries when I'm racing them, you have a very difficult time facing off with them. They seem to be really, really fast. So, I don't know, there's probably some trick to this or something that I'm missing. But yeah, I mean, and I'm not complaining because I seem to be doing okay with the race other than, you know, missing the boost start at the beginning. But yeah, if you don't have a Sanchez livery, remember, notice it has the livery wording at the end of it, not just a regular Sanchez. The regular Sanchez really suck. But yeah, if you don't have that, the BF9 will definitely do the job for you. I know it's a little bit pickier in the turns. Like, it seems to want to lock oversteer, and when it locks, it just doesn't like the dirt, and I don't know why, because it doesn't make sense. It's probably something with the coating of Cayo Perico, but whatever it is, I'm sure you guys will figure it out and you know, figure out how to master it yourself. So, but yeah, it's just really cool to be able to go back and pull out my Sanchez livery and actually be competitive with this bike. So it is a really cool bike. It's a lot of fun. It has a livery that really just screams use it on this track too, which I'm rocking right now. So but yeah, the real trick is to stay on the ground as much as possible, and I'm not doing it perfectly right now. That's probably why the guys in top positions have their top positions, is because they can stay on the ground at the most. But that's it. Do it up. Win some races. Now, these next set of races are basically open off-road races. You can use any off-road car in it. You can actually switch up to use other classes of cars, but for the most part, you're going to end up with this kind of street car setup. And these are pretty straightforward. They're made to be a little bit like thinner, so one thing you're going to run into is really be careful about, especially going up on two wheels. You can see that. But yeah, people who really love to drive well, people who don't have any problems getting off the gas and taking their turns correctly and being a little methodic about things will really love these races. They're just basically open off-road class races. And it does add a little bit more. It's obviously not, there's a shortcut here. It's obviously not one of the, if you'll say, more popular classes, I don't think. So it'll be interesting to see how this stuff catches on and if people continue to drive it. What's weird is that there's really only 3 races that really fall into this category. It's this one, Paradise 1 or whatever, and there's one other that I think it's Going Up, that that are in this kind of open off-road class thing. So the real trick here, and no shocker, we were bringing this up before, was that the main vehicle of choice now has to be the dragger. I tried this with everything else. I tried it with bikes. I tried it with the Vagrant, the Camacho, a lot of different cars, and the dragger is just, I mean, I think it was basically purpose built to race this race or race these races. It doesn't have a stupendously high top speed, but it has a great 0 to 60. It has a great handling flag for dirt, and it seems to just kind of meander along. Really, the thing that you, like I said, you really need to worry about is it does get a little bit, it's very high, and it likes to go up on 2 wheels. So the trick really is just finding a way to get it to be a little bit more sure-footed. If that means coming off the gas a little bit, then go for it. But in the long run, the dragger is going to be it. Definitely go get a custom. Don't bother with non-customs, and yeah, you'll do fine. Now I'm going to show off hauling gas here, which is the next in the lineup for the off-road style racings. I think it's funny that this cover for hauling gas is like, it looks like you're supposed to be driving like coupes or something, and it's set to off-road. And the other lesson is not many people change classes on these. So the reason that a lot of these cars and the things that we're going to show you do well is really based on their handling flags. So yeah, I think that's something that you want to kind of become accustomed to, but you don't want to get too crazy off in the weeds. I really just would rather people, enjoy racing. So I don't think you're going to worry too much about it. But yeah, when we get into the sports with supers, there really isn't much that, pick the fastest car. If you have something that goes fast, use it. I don't know if the HSW upgrades will work at all. It's obviously it's something in testing, but for right now, I didn't want to get too crazy off in all the different perspectives that you can get into things. So yeah, it's like I said, it's just a matter of having fun. I've yet to have anybody change out of the base class of whatever the thing is that we're running. Maybe once or twice at most, and even then I obviously doubt it's ever happened. But I also want to add something here. One thing that I'm not trying to say with these is that I'm the fastest racer ever made, that I am the best. By far, I am not. I have raced some people that would really just leave me in the dust. I do know that the stats kind of stand out there, and I do know that the cars that we're suggesting are definitely in the top echelon. So that's the thing is it really is just to make you more empowered to be a faster driver. Those poles right there, they don't budge at all. So that's really the goal here. And if you get that out of it and you end up winning some races from it, because you don't have to spend, the 20 or so hours I spent testing vehicles to figure it out, then hey, is the dragger really the fastest? Did Rockstar really make it so I had to spend money to be the next big thing? Like, yeah, that's exactly what Rockstar did. See, I make mistakes because I'm talking at the same time. And this is going down. This is the first one that you ever see something out of class, which is the sport. I'm just going to give it to you right straight up front. The SE Sport is the way to go. It's just the fastest. I like the Flash GT. It is a little bit squirrely, but it's not as good as the SE Sport. And the other one is the Rally Eye, and the I can't remember the other one that was basically like the same, came out at the same time as the Rally Eye. But those are all good cars to use here. Now, the reason I'm bringing that up first is because you're probably going to say, well, I have an S95 that's HSW capable, and It's easily my fastest car. Or you know what? I'm an amazing guy at the Italy GTO. Well, something we brought up earlier was the handling flags. And one of those handling flags is an off-road flag. And it really tells how much of the vehicle power and how it puts that power down adjusts based on being accessed to basic off-road vehicles of any kind and off-road racing. And the Issy Sport has a very low flag, and it still has has a very good, or high, I should say higher flag, that makes it a lot better for this style of racing. And yeah, this thing will rock an Italy GTO. It'll leave it in the dust when it comes to off-road. So basically think of this as off-road racing too. So like if somebody changes this over to off-road, then bring out your dragger and show them how to do it. And then the other thing is if you want to get tricky and throw somebody off their pace, get into this, and the handling flags will do the rest. So like I said, the Issy Sport is bar none is going to be the fastest one when it comes to this, and it's just a blast to use anyway. It's few times do I get to use this thing because nobody changes off-road to sport anyway. So yeah, it's going to be just out there for speed. Just funny to see it too when you race against somebody who has those other vehicles. Once kind of note with that too is that I've heard of people saying that stuff has been changed to supers, and with supers, I don't even think there is a car that has a handling flag. Like they are for sports, there's got a good group of them, like the Armored Karuma and Karuma fall into that. The Sultan, I believe it's the RS do. So there's a lot of stuff in sport, not so much in other classes. Okay, last one up is Flyer. Definitely between the last one and this one, I'm really torn about which is my favorite. This one definitely frustrates me. The vehicle to use is going to be the Howard NS X or whatever it's called. These are going to be the things that are going to be the bane of your existence. There's times when you're going to hit those and you're going to be like, oh yeah, I'm perfectly where I need to be, and then at the last second it's not going to trigger right, or it's going to slow you down. And these right here are really the trick to being the fastest, because if you can't get those to trigger right, it'll take I think it's about 2 seconds per thing that they'll take off of you. And like you said, you can see I'm like focused on hitting them because I'm kind of still in a rhythm to catching up with it. The custom version of the Howard is the best. If you don't have the plane on this, then like I said, you can use the Alpha or the other one. There's another one in there too that works. The Alpha and the NSX are both good. I heard people saying the Joker was good. It's kind of a pain in the butt if you ask me. I don't know how you guys use that thing. So, but yeah, this one, the Howard is kind of one that sticks with you. I'm just gonna say I spent probably a ton of millions. See what I'm saying? Like, I should have hit that perfectly. If you guys know a way to get ahead of that or what I'm doing wrong, it would be awesome to tell me. Because I think that's really keeping me out of the top positions when it comes to the speed for this track. But yeah, that's the amount of funds I spent to figure this one out was intense. And I don't regret any of it. It's just so much fun to race this thing. I don't know why. It is restricted to these kind of propeller airplane setups. So it really does end up being something that's like, if you want to catch people, basically like saying, hey, I'm going to get people and I'm going to have my Howard and they're not going to know what's up, and then get used to hitting these triggers in a way that they don't, you know what I mean, that they don't slow you down, that is like huge. You're going to literally decimate people. It's hilarious how well it does when it's applied correctly. So, but yeah, get this plane, get comfortable with it, and I mean, I wish there was another race. It's so funny that I spent all that money on this plane, and I'm like, I really only have one race to use, and I don't get a lot of people that play it. So I usually just come out and practice it, because I think it's, especially with these bonus things here, getting used to them and, you know, being able to hit them every time. I mean, it's almost like an accomplishment because it's so hard to do. But in all the top guys, you can tell that they know how to hit it. So that's pretty much it. And the other thing is, I'm just not I'm going to say it like this, like, I am not a flyer guy. Like, I can't. I knew I was going to do that. I also love that you can pop those. Okay. And then being able to spin around at the end here. They just do just enough so that it's like people who are entry level can kind of get addicted to this track. So, but yeah, in the long run, I'd love to do ISSY sport tracks all day, but that freedom of flight, it's just so much fun. Alright, so that's pretty much it on Cayo Perico, how to win them. There really isn't that much to the Cayo Perico stuff, but in some respects, there's some of those races that, like the air race, like flyer, like you can see a lot of people on the top there have that Alpha Z and seem to be doing really well with it. So, you know what? Take that thing out, figure out how to do the best with it. Maybe there's a trick there that I'm not seeing. Maybe there's, you know, maybe I should just find a way to hit more of those checkpoints correctly, because I haven't been able to nail the one at the end there. Maybe it's a glitch. I don't know. It's going to be something, but it's always going to be fun. And if you guys have a little bit one up on the other people out there because somebody tried to help you with it,
I need to flush the tank.
then more power to you, right? But unfortunately, right now, I have to head back out to Cayo Perico because, well, it's just going to say I'm going to pick up a little bit of a deposit from him so I can pay off my airplane debts. So, yeah. So, you guys have a great day. Hope everybody liked what you saw. Remember, like and subscribe. We'll see you next time on the Primo Show. And, yeah, we'll have more for you. How to win races, how to do heists, all sorts of stuff, and basically how to make a ton of money. Talk to you then. Bye.